Hello everyone, welcome back to Witches the Moon. This is your Monday host Natalie, and this is, I have no idea what week we are on. This whole virus thing has gotten my time kind of off, and actually I don't even see my planner here that tells me which week we're on. You're lucky I even know the topic. I only know that because I looked it up last night. So this week we are talking about, I'm thinking this is week 12. 11. I don't know. 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. I went to get my little witches date book that I got, and this one I'm using to keep all my Witches the Moon stuff in. This one I'm using to keep all of my purple broom and the purple mystic stuff in. So yeah, gotta have 4 planners. And I have my big planner for Benabella, and I'm using for work and life and everything else. So this week it's week 11, and we are talking about the use of fragrance in the craft. Now this is a topic that we have actually covered before in the past, so I'm going to try not to repeat myself, but I honestly did not go back and rewatch my old videos. So if this is a repeat of some information, I apologize. What is important to know about your sense of smell, your olfactory nerve, is that your sense of smell is one of the very first senses out of the 5: touch, hearing, smell, and taste. Touch, hearing, smell, taste, and sight. Okay. Of the 5 senses that we have, the 5 regular senses, the sense of smell is the first sense that develops in the womb. You actually smell in the womb. Yes, folks. And things are familiar to you by smell. Smell, therefore, has a very primal connection to the part of your brain that controls emotional response. So, therefore, the sense of smell is a key part of shifting your planes of consciousness, which is where it comes in handy for us as witches. Now, you know, we like pleasant smells. We like things that smell good. We are warned away from bad situations by bad smells. If you've ever in your life smelled the smell of death, it is a smell you will never forget. Trust me, it is the sickiest, sweetest smell, and it's disgusting. But it warns you, right? You know when it's near. And same thing with smell. Smell can transport us to a specific moment in time like that, right? So fragrance is something that we tend to use in the craft. Hence, we have a lot of different types of incenses. We use oils. We use scented candles. Now, there are some people, such as my husband, who are extraordinarily sensitive to smells. When my husband was a young child, he was playing with another young child who shoved his face into some pool bleach. He inhaled and almost died. And I swear to God, the man has the sense of smell of a dog. And I am not kidding. I mean, he can smell the slightest smells in the air. He can distinguish different smells, and it's incredible. He'll come home and he'll be like, the dog peed. Where'd the dog pee? And I'll be like, the dog didn't pee. Dog's been with me all day. No. The dog peed. You need to find it. And I will go over the entire house with black light, and it will be a tiny little quarter-sized spot in a closet somewhere. And as soon as I clean it out, he's like, okay, it smells better in here. Go figure. Because we have a dog that's really old, and every now and then she has accidents. But the purpose of smell in the craft is to achieve that sense of shifting of our planes of consciousness, to move our mind into another plane so that we are somewhere between the worlds when conducting craft. So for people who are super sensitive, there are alternatives. You can use the wax melts that are a little bit softer. And for those of you that are sensitive to smoke and can't burn incense, oils make a good option. But a lot of essential oils tend to be extremely concentrated and very strong. That's why last week I talked about hydrosols. And so hydrosols are similar in characteristic to essential oils, but they're a lot softer, because I know that even with the essential oil diffusers, sometimes my husband just can't handle it. So the oils themselves tend to be a little bit strong. This is actually jasmine oil. It's not an essential oil. It's actually purified jasmine oil. I have a lady from Egypt who imports it, and so I get that from her. But I like to use jasmine a lot in love spells and in spells for healing, because to me jasmine invokes that sense of luxury and love and peace and harmony. So for healing, emotional healing, I find it very useful. So what I have found are these. I tried using the little wax melts in the little holders, and the problem is my dogs would knock them off the wall, because even though they plug into the plug like a Scentsy kind of thing, those are great, and you can put different things into those. They don't have to be the wax melts. You can put scented papers in there. You can soak papers like parchment paper in essential oil, and then put it into those and let that heat up, and it will diffuse, and it's a little bit softer than the actual air diffusers. And that's essentially what these are. These are some little paper things that I got from Walmart, actually, and this particular one is called Spring Rain. It smells really good. It's actually one of the few scents that my husband doesn't go, God, what is that odor? He likes sandalwood. I can get sandalwood, I can burn the sage, and I can do these. And I love these because they're paper, so there's no mess. Because what I was having with the wax was that the dogs kept bumping into the wax thing, and the wax would go all over the wall. And then I'd have to sit there with a piece of paper towel and a blow dryer to try to get it off the wall. And it was driving my husband crazy because he was convinced it was going to set the whole house on fire or ruin something. So these little papers are great. You can buy them in a big package. Well, big package. And they're great because you can find these in all sorts of smells, or you can create them yourselves by, just adding a little bit of essential oil to some paper. Now, these are little paper rolls, and what I've noticed is that they tend to open up as they release the fragrance, and you can see there's actually like a residue. That's from the oils in the paper, but it works really well. What I do is I just went to Hobby Lobby and I just bought a little candle holder, and I put the little papers in there, and then I got a candle warmer, and it was like $6. This was like $2, and I just put them inside of there and put that on the candle warmer, and I allow that to warm. Now, that may be another option too for those of you that want to use scented candles, but you have a paranoid individual in your home, such as my husband, who does not like candles of any kind, doesn't like fire of any kind, and burning it in the fireplace during rituals not an option. Then you can always utilize a candle warmer, and it will diffuse that fragrance out. And I actually find it's a little bit softer than when you actually burn the candle, because you don't get that smoky smell in with it. But that's a good alternative. But fragrance is important because it allows us to shift our planes of consciousness and enter into a specific state of mind when doing ritual. That's why there's so many different smells, right? Smell can transport you to a moment in time like that. You can be walking down the street and you'll have not thought about somebody for years, and you'll smell a perfume, a cologne, and it will trigger that memory from way back when and instantly take you back to that moment in time. And that's exactly how we use it in the craft. So it's a way to get your mind into another place so that you can be open to whatever you're doing in your ritual. It can amp up your spellcraft immensely because it helps you to focus that thought process by shifting that plane of consciousness, just as drum beats and music can. It really transports. I mean, I don't know how else to say that. Really, it can move you. Smell can move you in much the same way that drum beats can move you. And we've talked about that when we've talked about the use of music in the craft. It really, those binaural beats, they trigger something in the brain, and that really just puts you into a whole new state of being. And that is the purpose for using fragrance in the craft. It puts you in a specific state of being or a state of mind that gets you where you need to be to accomplish the goal that you're doing. So, I realize this hasn't been a horribly long video, but You're welcome to go back and look at our playlist from previous seasons where we've talked about the use of smell or the use of fragrance in the craft before and get more ideas, because there were different hosts at the time. So you always get new ideas, but that's the primary use. Like I said, we can use it in soaps to prepare ourselves for ritual. We use it as oils on the body or essential oils to get us to that place, and in our spellcraft to amp up that spellcraft. We also use it during ritual to invoke a specific state of being or mindset to shift that plane of consciousness. And we can use it in candles to achieve the same thing or to invoke a certain energy in a space. So for example, this is from Lady Jane's Bewitchery. It was my Ostara candle. It has a lovely light springy smell, and I actually used it in my Ostara ritual as the central candle to kind of aid me during that ritual to bring in the spray. It can evoke a state of mind and a state of being, and so that is the primary use of fragrance in the craft. Thank you so much for watching. If you are not aware, we now have a Patreon channel, so please come and check us out if you'd like more in-depth content. We are offering podcasts, videos, and educational seminars and classes on the Patreon channel. So please come and check us out at www.patreon.com/Witches of the Moon, one word. And thank you so much for supporting. Have a blessed day and stay safe in all this COVID craziness.